Well, Wormhead started out as a trailer for, you know, when the band would first come out, you know what I mean? That's how it all started. It started out just being this little trailer that would show before we would actually come out and perform at the shows. And what started happening was I started just making the trailer a little longer and a little longer, and next thing you know, it just became what it was. And I always had the idea of the Wormhead movie in my head, but I just never really thought I would be the one to make it, you know, kind of thing. But after a while, I just, you know, kind of was like, yeah, maybe I should try it. So when I started really getting into it, you know, I had a bunch of people that I'll kind of like would go to and be like, hey, what do you think about me trying to shoot this movie? I'm gonna call it Wormhead. It's gonna be for the fans. It's gonna be, you know what I mean? Because originally this was just made, I was gonna make this for the fans and release it on a DVD or with our next album, and, you know, just kind of do it that way. So people were telling me, oh, you need a crew and you gotta do it like this and like that, and they started running it down, and, you know, I started calling up different places like Austin Film Society and trying to figure out how can I get in this, and people started saying, oh, you gotta go to school for this and that, and I'm like, oh man, if I gotta do all that, I don't think this is gonna happen, you know what I mean? So what I did was I decided to just make my own lane in it. I just said, you know, I'm gonna just shoot this the best I can with what I got. I started just thinking of people I could, you know, call up to be in it. I was thinking of people that I knew could probably shoot and there wouldn't be any issues with, you know, time scheduling and things like that. Erica Haynes, you know, I've known her from the whole club scene, you know, downtown, and we kind of know some of the same people. So when I was thinking of an actress, a lead actress to play, I knew a couple people that could do it, but everybody didn't have the time to put in to really do it. And I wanted somebody that was excited about doing it. So that was the first thing I looked for. Like, I wanted to see who was excited about me even mentioning it to them, saying, hey, you want to be in this movie? You know, this is what it's about, boom, boom, boom. And I mentioned it to some people, and they were like, oh yeah, cool, that's cool. But then, you know, when I mentioned it to her, she was really excited, and she, you know, she dug it, and I was like, okay, let's do this. You know, we could make it work. So she did a really good job. Like, I was really surprised. I mean, I shouldn't really be that surprised because I knew she had it, but once I started letting her go and she was getting more comfortable, she was, you know, she started nailing it like it was, you know, like it was nothing. Gary, I've known for a while. He was in my first movie that I played in called Pineapple. So I definitely thought of him when I thought of the radio program director, and I was actually trying to get a hold of him, and I couldn't. I didn't have his number. I mean, I lost contact with him for a little while. We known each other for a while, but I lost contact with him. And so finally, I was about, like, maybe, I kid you not, like 5 minutes from just saying, you know what, maybe this is just a bad idea. I done jumped into something that I'm thinking too much, too far ahead, and then I pretty much gave up at that point, you know. And then the phone rang, and it was Gary. And he was like, what's up, man? I was like, man, I'm glad you called. So I ran him down the script real quick. I was like, hey, this is what it's about. You play this radio program director, you know, boom, boom, boom. And he was like, cool, yeah, man, just let me know when you want to do it. And I'm like, right now, like, you know. And so he agreed to it, and he was like asking for a script, and I was like, there's no script, man. It's all in my head, you know, because at this point, I didn't even have none of it written down. I just knew it all in my head because I knew the story, because it's the same story I've been telling about the Dirty Wormz for the last 10 years. When I first caught the director's bug, I was in this, like I said, I met Gary in a movie, Pineapple. And so this was the first time I even acted in a movie or been on a movie set or any of that. And I remember Jeff Davis actually called me up and he was like, hey, you know, you want to be in a movie, man? I'm thinking you're the guy to play the part. And I'm just like, yeah, Jeff, whatever, man. And so he stayed on me. He called me a couple more times, and then we ended up meeting up, and I met with him and Steve Prince. And they had me read a couple of lines. I went over to this office, read some lines, and next thing you knew, they was like, yeah, you got it, you nailed it. It was really cool because Steve was there to kind of help guide me through it. But a lot of the stuff that was going on, I kind of already knew how they were shooting it, but that's what I was more interested in. I was more interested in the director and how he was shooting the scene, you know what I mean? I was seeing the different perspectives, but it's like I already knew that's how they were gonna do it, even though I didn't even know it, but I knew it. So after that movie, I really started catching the bug. So I just jumped head in, you know what I mean? Got a camera, got some gear, some editing equipment, you know, some programs, and I just jumped head in, you know. And I still had people telling me, no, you can't do that, you know, you gotta have a crew, you gotta have a light guy, you gotta have da-da-da. So most of it, I just started shooting very guerrilla style, and I already knew this style because I had already been doing it in music videos before that I was already doing. Me and Louis Fats in the beginning, making a lot of the Dirty Worm videos, and some of my first videos I learned a lot from him. So then when it came time for me to have my actual hands-on on it, I already knew this stuff, you know, so it didn't take me long to start going in. I started getting into music videos, and music videos was a way for me to sharpen my skills for the movie, you know what I mean? Like, that's why some of the videos you would see, I shot like little bitty movies to them and put them in the beginning of the video, because a music video to me is like, it's really simple, really easy, unless you want to get over the top with it. But I also started seeing a music video only lasts so long. I gotta do something that lasts, that's gonna last, you know? And so that's where I started sharpening my skills even more. And even when I still shoot music videos today, I like to put a little movie in front of it so that people can see my skills. And that's, for me, I'm able to sharpen my skills a little more. I would always listen to the commentaries of the movies. Like after I watch a DVD, I go back and then click the commentary on so I can hear the directors talking about how they made it, like Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. I soaked up a lot of game from that, and I just look at commercials. I look at how they're shot, and I think of how they're done. I know it's hard now, because now when I do something, it's hard for me to watch a movie because I'm always shouting out stuff, like I'm looking at it going, green screen. I can't even never really look at the movie the same, but I can still appreciate it. I write, produce, directing, editing. I'm just like the one-stop shop, I guess, but I do it because I had no choice. But if I was gonna wait on somebody to do this movie, I would still be waiting. Everybody told me that you can't do that. This will never, you know what I'm saying? Like, this will never happen. You know, like you gotta have people, and I did this with really nobody, just a tripod, a camera, no lights. Sometimes I had lights, sometimes I didn't. I just used what I had at the moment, and I'm glad I did that, because, you know, I just kept it moving forward. Meeting a bunch of film industry people is different a little bit from music, but the one thing they both have in common is a lot of them be bullshit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them be bullshitting to the point like you can't get a serious answer out of nobody. So that's where I learned on quick and just took what I know from the music. Like, I'm not waiting on nobody, I'm just gonna jump into this thing, because if I sit here and wait, I'm just gonna be waiting. What I want people to get out of Wormhead is the story of the Dirty Wormz and the Wormhead fan, what he's feeling, you know what I mean? But also just enjoy the story. Now, there's real elements of my life in it, and I've, you know, exaggerated some of it because it's a slasher movie, but a lot of it that you'll have to see, I can't really spoil it for you, but you really have to see it. It involves all the albums, the infection, the parasite, the outbreak, you know what I mean? And once you see it and then you go back and listen to the albums, then you'll be like, wow, he brought that whole album to life. That's what I think, and that's what I want people to get out of it. And I just want people to take me serious as a director. I mean, this is my debut, and this is what I'm going for. This is what I'm gonna be doing.